There are two loud camps on debt. One says all debt is a trap, burn it all down. The other says debt is the secret weapon of the rich. Leverage everything. A CFO agrees with neither. Because is debt good or bad is the wrong question. The same $30,000 loan can be the smartest move you make, or the one that sinks you. And the difference has almost nothing to do with the label on it. A CFO never labels debt by its type. They run it through three questions. Pass all three, it's a tool. Fail one, it's a leak. Here are the three. First, kill the myth that's costing you the most, that debt is good or bad by category. Mortgage good, credit card bad, student loan good, car loan bad. That list is how most people decide, and it's wrong often enough to hurt. Here's the reframe a CFO lives by. Debt is never free, and it never by itself makes you money. Every dollar you borrow has a price, the interest, and its pure cost. What makes a debt worth that cost is entirely about what it's attached to and what it does to your risk. So a mortgage on a house you can't afford at a rate that resets can be bad debt, and a loan on something people sneer at can be good debt. The category on the label tells you almost nothing. The three questions tell you everything, not the label on it. What it costs, what it buys, and what it does if life goes wrong. Question 1. What does the debt cost? Just the rate, on its own. This is the CFO's first instinct, the cost of capital. Every debt has a price tag, its interest rate, and that rate is a hurdle. Before you look at what the money is for, you look at what it costs to rent it. Watch it with real numbers. A credit card at 24% is the most expensive money most people will ever touch. A mortgage at, say, 6% is cheap by comparison. That gap is the whole of question 1. And the price alone can already settle a debt. At 24%, the hurdle is so high that almost nothing you could possibly buy will clear it reliably. The rate condemns the card before you even ask what it bought. A low rate doesn't make a debt good. That's the mistake, stopping the second you hear low interest. But a high enough rate makes a debt bad all on its own. And the rate isn't the whole cost, it's the rate across time. A modest percentage stretched over decades can total a staggering amount in interest alone. A CFO reads the lifetime cost of the money, not just the number on the rate. So question 1 is blunt. How much does this money cost to hold? Cheap money earns the right to a second question. Expensive money usually doesn't get one. Question 2. Is the money buying something that grows or earns, or something that dies the moment you own it? And whatever it buys, can what it gives back clear the hurdle from question 1? A CFO splits everything you can borrow for into two piles. One pile builds, an asset that appreciates or that raises what you can earn. The other evaporates. It loses value while you're still paying for it. Then comes the test. The building pile only counts if what it earns actually beats the rate. Take the loan people defend most, a student loan. The asset here is your future earning power. If the degree lifts your income by, say, $15,000 or $20,000 a year for decades, the money bought something that pays back far more than its interest. It's on the building side, and it clears the hurdle with room to spare. But the loan doesn't know that. The exact same loan for a credential that doesn't move your income at all bought nothing. And now you're paying interest on a memory. Same debt, same rate. One earns its cost back. One just costs. This is where the cheap mortgage from question 1 gets decided. 6% was only a low hurdle. Question 2 asks whether the house can jump it. The home you live in saves you rent and has historically gained a few percent a year. Add those together, and it can beat 6%. Buy far more house than you need, and the same 6% starts winning against what the house gives back. The rate was fine, the asset just couldn't clear it. And the classic trap in the evaporating pile, the car. A new car loses roughly half its value in its first years. It depreciates fast. Finance far more car than you need, and you've borrowed to own something shrinking under you the whole loan. A car you truly need is fine, but a CFO sees it plainly. This asset earns nothing back, so the debt had better be small and cheap because there's no return to clear the hurdle with. Question 1 sets the bar. Question 2 asks whether what you bought can jump it. Question 3, and it's the one the first two miss. What does this debt do to you if life goes wrong? A CFO calls this a fragility test. A debt can pass on cost and pass on what it bought and still be dangerous because of what it does to your flexibility. Two things decide that. First, is the rate fixed or can it move? A fixed rate is a known enemy. A variable rate, a credit card, an adjustable loan, can climb without warning. A debt that was fine at 6% is a different animal at 11%. A CFO hates a liability that can quietly reprice against them. Second, the real stress test. If your income stopped for 6 months, does this debt bend or does it break you? A modest fixed payment you could cover from savings for a while. That debt bends. A stack of payments so large that one lost paycheck means missed bills. That debt breaks you no matter how good its category looked. This is why the size of the debt matters as much as the rate. Even cheap debt, piled high enough, turns a setback into a catastrophe. So a CFO would rather carry a small, fixed, boring debt than a large variable, smart one. The boring one lets you survive a bad year. The clever one only works if nothing ever goes wrong. And something always does. Watch the three do their work on one real decision. Two people, each borrowing the exact same $30,000 at nearly the same rate. The first takes a fixed loan at 6% to finish a nursing degree that raises her pay by $20,000 a year. Run the three. The rate is cheap, passes 1. It bought earning power worth far more than 6%, passes 2. And it's a small fixed payment she could carry through a rough patch, passes 3. 3 passes. That's good debt, and a CFO would sign it without blinking. The second finances a $30,000 luxury truck at 7%, barely a different rate, to look the part at work. Run the same 3. 7% is cheap too, so this one also passes question 1. And that's exactly the trap people fall into. They check the rate, see it's low, and stop. But the truck loses half its value in a few years and earns nothing back. Fails 2. And the payment is big enough that 1 lost job means missed bills. Fails 3. Same money, almost the same rate. 1 is good debt, 1 is bad, and question 1 couldn't tell them apart. Same amount, nearly the same rate. Opposite debts. That's the whole point. The rate opened both doors. What the money bought, and what it does to you in a bad year, decided which was which. Not the label, and not the rate alone. So put the 3 together because that's the whole framework on one line. Good debt isn't a category. It's a debt that passes all 3. The rate is low enough to be beatable. What it bought actually beats it. And it won't break you if your income stops. Miss anyone, and a good debt on paper is a bad one in your life. Which is why the labels lie. A mortgage at a rate that resets on a house that's stretching you fails all 3. It's bad debt wearing the most respectable name there is, and a small fixed loan on a tool that genuinely raises your income passes all 3. Good debt hiding under a nervous label. The category was never the answer. The test is. So next time any debt is offered to you, a card, a car, a loan, a buy now, pay later, don't ask if it's the good kind. Ask the 3. What does it cost against what it earns? What is it actually buying? And what does it do to me if the money stops? A CFO runs that in 10 seconds. Now you can too. If you want to keep reading money the way a finance chief reads a business, subscribe. That's the whole ask. No course, no spreadsheet, no link. Just the next breakdown.